It's Sunday, September 27th, 2020. This is All About Your Benjamins and your weekly mixtape and week in review video. Hope you had a great weekend. As you can see, if you're watching this on All About Your Benjamins, very few headlines to cover, so let's get to the headlines that may or may not be impacting your financial plan and portfolio. And we will start off with jobless claims. So we've always kept an eye on the jobless reports, and it came out at 870,000, so almost 900,000 people still on unemployment, down from the highs of the 7 million numbers we were at, but still kind of hovering around that 900,000. So we've talked about this, and no new news here, so just wanted to bring that up and just give an update of where that number is. It's not going up, but it's also not really getting any better. With that ties into the next one, talking about a possible second stimulus package. I believe we briefly discussed it a couple weeks ago on the Weekend Review video, but the Democrats are putting together a proposal for a $2.4 trillion, let me double check that, yep, $2.4 trillion package to go. Will it be passed before the election? No one knows. Most people who knows what they know, but most of the experts are saying that there's not going to be another bill before the election. Some of the people in supporting the White House have come out and said that they believe that the recovery can continue without it, so they do not want to do some additional spending, but we'll see what happens. There are many families, businesses that could use the extra assistance, so it's needed, but we don't know if it's going to go through and at what level it goes through. But that is a conversation piece. We'll be hearing more about it as the weeks go on, and obviously as we get closer to November. Let's go to coronavirus update. Nothing major on this end. You're probably seeing locally around you, where you might be, numbers ticking up a little bit, but the article that here highlights that New York had a day of over 1,000 new cases on Saturday. So it's the first time it's been back over 1,000 since June. What does that mean? No one really knows. Does have to do with more testing? Does that have to mean things are picking back up? We don't know, but we are seeing pockets across the globe pick back up as well. Haven't heard much about the severity of the cases and what all that means, but if we're just stepping back and looking at the big landscape and how does this impact the headlines, how does this impact the portfolio, seeing these tick up may mean we start to see pulling back on opening up of communities and going back to school. For instance, where we live, the boys are on a 3-day a week, 2-day a week alternating schedule. Next month, beginning of October, they're supposed to go back to full time. So if we see numbers ticking back up, does that change our lives and what's going to be happening day to day? Do businesses go back to having less restaurants availability? All these things can go out, which will trickle into economy and numbers and stimulus plans and all these things. So it's all interconnected, as you know. But the update on the corona virus situation just was the New York headline. And then finally, we are going to end on the market. So we had another volatile week in the markets, up days, down days. It ended the week on a positive note, but still was the fourth consecutive week down. They don't share that to put any fear out there, but just kind of an update of what's going on in the markets. Volatility is always here, just sometimes we see it more, sometimes we see it to the downside, sometimes we see it to the upside, although when we have that volatility spike upward, no one really calls it volatility, no one really talks about it. Volatility really has a negative downside, but we see it to both ways. So obviously there's a lot of headlines that can move the markets in the short term, or can be reasons that we can attribute to a market move so we feel like we know what's going on. Coronavirus numbers, stimulus packages, elections, all these other things going on. So there's plenty of the headlines out there that can move the markets in the short term. Again, you know my stance, long term, globally diversified portfolio, control our emotions, our expenses, the things we can control, and let the market do its thing, and just make sure that we are in a position to be able to ride those ups and downs out. If we're in retirement, make sure we have enough short-term needs, cash, to have our living expenses met, so we don't have to be forced to sell for money we need on a monthly basis. If we're young, keep on saving, make sure we have our emergency fund, beef that up a little bit if we need to, but not panic sell in reaction. So that's it for this week. Short and sweet. We'll let you get down to the mixtape down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, head on over to allaboutyourbenjamins.com, and that is where you will find the mixtape. So appreciate you always watching. You feel free to spread this around and share it with your friends and family, and we'll let you get to your weekend. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next episode.